You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.
Welcome back to the Windows 11 for Beginner series. If your PC feels slow, takes a long time to start up, or you're just curious about what's running in the background, well, this video is for you. Today, we are going to talk about Windows services and startup applications, what they are, how to manage them, and how to safely improve performance without risking the system stability. So let's get started. So what are Windows services? Well, Windows services are background processes that help your system run. They power essential functions like internet connectivity, printing, security updates, and much, much more. Even if you don't directly see them, they are running in the background. Now, each service has a startup type. Some services start up automatically. That means it will run on the boot. When you boot up your machine, it will run. Some services have manual startup type. That means it runs when needed. And then there will be some services which are disabled. So disabled will be the startup type for them. That means it will not run. Most services should be left alone, but understanding what they do can help you fix problems or optimize performance. In simple terms, I don't want you to disable critical services. So make sure you don't touch all the services and only focus on the services which are safer to disable. Now, how to view services? Well, to see what services are running on your machine, you have two options. The first, simply press on Windows plus R key. Type services.msc and hit enter. This opens a service manager console or window. Over there, you can see all the services in your machine. You can also right-click on any service to start, stop, or change its settings. Another way to check all the services is the Task Manager. Right-click on the taskbar, open Task Manager, then go to Services tab. Now, one key point here. Don't disable a service unless you know what it does. You could cause system instability instantly. So don't just go there and start disabling random services. Please don't do that. Now, some services might be necessary for your system to perform effectively and efficiently. And disabling those services can degrade your system performance, actually, and make it more unstable. But on the other hand, there are some services that might not be necessary, and disabling them can slightly improve your system performance. Now, here are a few examples that are generally safe to disable if you are sure that you're not using them. The service for fax. If you don't use fax machine, then why you are running that service? You can disable it. How about Xbox services? Well, if you know that you are not going to game on that machine, then disable Xbox services as well, especially if the laptop is being used by elderly. They are not going to game on it. How about Print Spooler? If you never print anything from a specific machine, you can even disable that. But do not disable critical services like Windows Update, Windows Defender, Security Center. Don't disable it. Or maybe Wi-Fi. If you disable that, you will instantly lose connection to your Wi-Fi. So when in doubt, look it up on Google first. If it is safe, only then proceed. Otherwise, don't touch it. Now let's talk about the startup apps. Well, the startup apps are programs that automatically launch when you boot up your PC. Too many of these apps can slow down your system right away. So here's how you manage them. Right-click the taskbar and then open the Task Manager. Go to Startup tab. You will see the full list of application, their status, and an impact rating on your machine. If an application shows high impact and you don't even need it in your startup procedure, then right-click and select Disable. This doesn't uninstall the application, so don't worry about that. It just stops it from auto-launching when you boot up your machine. You can still run that application when you initiate it manually. Here are some quick tips to keep your PC running fast and clean. Keep startup apps to the minimum. Only enable the essential applications. Disable background services you know that you don't need and are not critical for your system stability. Don't install random softwares. Many applications quietly add themselves to the startup. So make sure, first, you don't even install those random applications, and make a habit to check if there is any application in a startup procedure which you definitely don't need. Also, restart your PC regularly. It helps to clear background memory use. You don't need to go overboard with it. Small changes will make a big difference in the long run. If you have these habits, at least your system will stay at its peak performance for a longer time. Now, if you want more control over what runs at the startup, there are a few advanced tools you can try, but only if you're comfortable. The first tool is Auto Runs by Microsoft Sys Internals. This tool shows everything that starts with Windows, including hidden tasks or background processes. The other tool is msconfig. This is an older tool that lets you modify boot options and services. Now, these tools are powerful, but not beginner-friendly. So please use them carefully, and only after doing some research. Well, before I move forward, a quick but important warning. Never disable services related to Windows security, updates, or networking. Don't stop something just because it sounds unfamiliar. Many important services don't have very obvious names. If you are unsure, just leave it on. Disabling the wrong thing might free up a little bit of memory, but it could break essential features or even prevent your system from booting properly in the next boot cycle. Or even worse, it will disable the security posture of your machine. All right, so how to check services which are running in the background? As you can see on the taskbar, I am not using any applications. Everything looks closed right now, as if this computer is not running anything. But that is not true. There are multiple services still running in the background. And how will you see it? Well, the first method is to click on Start and go to Run, and then type services.msc and click OK. And here you go. These are all the services running in the background. Not every service is running right now because it will show you the status. So if I filter it with status, yeah, these are the services which are running. And then these are services which are not running at the point. Plus, you will also see the startup type. That do a service actually have a manual startup type, or it will start automatically. You will see it over here. Plus, you can also change the startup type. If you go to Properties and click on Startup Types, you can change it. Now, out of these, some services are critical, and the other services are not that critical. So if you know the service which will not impact the functioning of your computer, and it is still running, plus you're not using it, then you can actually disable it. Now we'll close it. And another method to see all the running services is to go to Task bar, right-click, and click on Task Manager. Now this is your Task Manager. If you click on this open navigation icon, it will show you all the options. So over here, click on Services. And here we go. These are the same services which we saw earlier, but in a Task Manager window. Again, you can right-click, start a service, stop a service, and restart a service. Now, if you find any service which you don't need, you can simply right-click on it and click on Stop. For example, let's look at print service. As you can see, the print spooler is running. And I know from this virtual machine, I'm not going to send any print command. So if you don't want to use it, then you can just stop it. But remember, only stop the service which you're not using or which your system is not using at least. As you can see, the service is stopped. Now, how about Now, don't do this in your system. I'm repeating it, don't do this in your system. This is just a virtual machine, which I can always just restart. But let's see what happens if I just randomly stop all these services. Do you think it will critically stop my machine and my machine will be unresponsive? Let's see. All right, so I will just select all these running services. Let's do all these and just turn it off. So on top, I will say stop. Now, a stop control has been sent to a service that another running service are dependent on. So even Windows is giving you warnings that, hey, you are trying to stop a very critical service. Don't do that. And it will give you a lot of warnings because I selected a lot of critical services. So you're not supposed to do that. And I will rather restart my system at this point. So this is kind of a safeguard. But again, if you're able to stop critical services, let's say one by one, it will still mess up your machine. So be very careful. All right, so wow, the wallpaper changed. Okay, so the next thing we will see is the startup application. So if your machine have a lot of applications installed, and after some time, you will even forget how many applications you have on your machine. You will lose the track for sure. Now, you may think that, okay, I'm using only one or two applications. But the reality is that a lot of applications are configured to start when you boot your machine. Those are your startup applications. So even if you're not using those applications, they start and they run in the background. How to check what applications are in the startup procedure and how critical are they? Well, again, you go to Task Manager, and then you click on Startup Applications. This is where you will see all the startup applications, and it will also show you that what is the impact of those applications on your machine. High means that, okay, it is using a lot of resources. Low means it's not using that many resources, so turning it off will not make a noticeable difference. So if you find a service which you don't need, you don't want it, and it's still enabled, well, you can disable it. For example, in this VM, I don't want this service, so I can disable it. Now, OneDrive will not start when I boot up my machine. If I want to use it, I have to search for OneDrive and click on it to initiate the service, to start it. Similarly, if you see many more services which you don't want, you can disable it. Or you can also search for startup apps. It will also show up here. Now, remember, if you disable the startup apps, those applications will not start. You have to start it. So if you have, let's say, antivirus or your backup services or like OneDrive Cloud Sync services, Don't stop these services because you want them to work all the time. And now some advanced tools. If you search for auto run by version 14.11, and it is again available via Microsoft official website, then you can download auto run. Now this gives you advanced options to actually configure your application's startup procedure, whether it will run automatically or not. You can disable it. You can also put a delayed start and so much more. So let's open this file and run the application. So I'll run the 64-bit. Now, as you can see, it gives you all the services in category form. So everything will show you all the services. Then you have logon services, Explorer services, Internet Explorer services, scheduled tasks, service drivers, which are running in the backend, and so much more. Now, the point is not to understand how to use it properly. I just want to show you that this tool exists for advanced configuration. You can also go to MS configuration, or system configuration. So if you go to system configuration, from here as well, you can click on startup to see all the startup apps. It will ask you to go to task manager for this one. And how about services? Yes, for services, you can actually disable and enable services from system configuration as well. But again, please don't disable critical services. And that's your beginner-friendly guide to managing Windows services and startup apps. You have learned what services are and how to view them, which one you can safely disable, and how to reduce the startup clutter for faster boot times, and how to keep your PC running smoothly without breaking it. In the next video, we will explore the Windows 11 control interface, including setting application, control panel, and some best system tools you should know about. If this video helped, give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more beginner-friendly guides, and feel free to drop your question in the comment section. I'm happy to help. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.